last 1.5 years of taking YouTube seriously, I've made over 100 videos. It's around 103 at the moment, and I've made around 150 videos for my app. All of that happened over here. This is my studio / living space, and it deserves a tour of its own. Come on in. I'll show you how I make my videos, how this area goes a lot of transformation to fit all the different videos, the different scenes, etc. And I'll show you in detail the process of how I make the videos that you see on YouTube. Alright, so to make a video, the most important thing is you need to have an idea, and you need to capture all the ideas that come to you. So most of the times I'll be sitting over here and I'll be doing my work when an idea immediately pops up to me. At that time, what I usually do is I go over here up to this board and write down any sort of idea that I have got over here. And this is the place where I do the idea dump, as we say. But of course, not all the times am I home. And so for that time, I use this app called as Notion, where I have this ideas dumps or notes or voice memos or anything. I just need to capture my ideas down. So this is the most important part, is to capture the ideas, right? Moving on to the second part, that is scripting. And scripting is very essential because in YouTube, the first 2 minutes are very, very important, because it basically decides whether or not your audience are gonna watch your video or not. It has to be engaging, it has to be super smooth. So most of my videos are around 80% scripted, and most of that scripting process is to develop the first part of the video called as the hook, so that the audience gets hooked to your content, right? And the scripting part is usually done over here. I have this, my iPad, as you can see, this I've got the script of this video here written down. Scripting I usually do on this iPad connected to this magic keyboard over here, as you can see. Otherwise, I've also got this my computer or MacBook or any other thing. What I need to keep in mind is that I need to write down whatever the script is going to be. So the app that I'm using is Google Docs over here, because it is synced across everything, because this script I typed it down on a MacBook and it is already present on my iPad. So the next thing is that I need to plan the shots. To plan the shots is to visualize what they're going to look like at the time of your shooting. So you might have seen a lot of shots which are top down, which are anterior, posterior, posterior, anterior. So these are the shots which we have to think about before starting to make a video. So come on over here, I'll show you one of the ways I plan my shots. That is over here. So this is the place where some of the planning takes place, where, as you can see, this is a very big whiteboard in which I literally just draw frames of how the shots are going to look like, so that I have a better idea to see how to position the camera where everything else should be. And this is one of the this is the script, and this is the plan of the video that I made about Next, and it was really good. So this is the basic outline of the video. A lot of the times planning can be done on this iPad as well, where I could just draw away all the things that I need to shoot. Alright, after the planning is done, I need to review whether or not to make that video, because a lot of times it has happened that I have made the video, but in the end it turned out not so good and it did not add a lot of value to it. Like, there are 5 videos which I have completely made, edited, about to be published, but I had to remove that from the published list because they were not good. So to avoid that in the future, I've got a very good system. First of all, I review the idea with 2 or 3 of my close friends. After the video has been shot, I show it to my parents and show it to my friends whether or not this video is something that they would want to watch. And if that is the approved, only then you get to watch the video. The next segment is the most fun segment, and that is filming. And you have seen a lot of different parts of this room in different videos. Like, a lot of the times I place my camera over there, right? So it is viewing all this thing, and the background is this. This is the very beautiful background that is coming out. The table over here is the main setup, and the camera is put over here. This table is very, very portable, so I could just move it around and keep the camera over here, keep the monitor over here, right? So this is the part about the scene setting up. So setting up the scene is very important. You also have to be very cautious about what the backdrop is going to be, whether you are revealing new video ideas or not, and how is it overall going to impact your videos. If your video is something related to how you're reading books, etc., this is the perfect backdrop for it. If your video is something technical, for example, I'm making a review of the iPad, that won't be the place to make it. This would be probably the place to make it. The reason is it is associated with work, etc. So you've also seen a lot of shots from this angle where I am sitting over here like so, right? And then there's this table which has come out like this, and the window is etc. is opened up. So that also adds to another beauty to filming in this room. So there are a couple of varieties of shots that I do over here, like the ones you saw over here. Apart from that, we also do top-down shots, which you'll really like. So in that, we have to set up the tripod over here, and the camera looks from above to this place. This is a very nice mouse pad kind of thing which I got from Amazon randomly. This is a dual function, a blue one or a yellow one, depending upon which one I require for the scene. If I'm placing something which is white color, that would probably be done better over here. For example, the paper cuttings that I put, or if I'm putting something else, the yellow would be the one to go with. And this also adds another dynamic thing to this small place. I've also got a couple of chart papers folded up and kept over in this closet, which whenever I require, I could just spread them over here and take a top-down shot from my, from that point of view. I got this idea by watching a lot of Casey Neistat videos, and he does a very good job at having this. Actually, when Casey was in NYC, he had a very dedicated space to take top-down shots because he used to take it so much. So this is the area where top-down shots are done. Anyways, talking more about the filming, so these are the locations and the angles. Now I want to talk about equipment. So to shoot anything you require cameras, right? My go-to camera up until yesterday was this. It is a Sony Alpha 58. Currently it is put on the 55-200mm lens, but this is not the one which I currently shoot with. The lens which I used to shoot it was on 18-55mm. Out of that, the 18mm was the one. So this is the Sony Alpha 58 I earlier used. Currently, I am using Sony a6400, which this video is currently being shot on. So these are the two main DSLRs that I have for production. The next important series is this thing. This is the DJI OSMO Pocket, and this is one of the things which I really like. First of all, because it is so portable. So I'll just show it to you. This is the device, right? It is literally the palm of my hands. So it is that small. And then I carry this around whenever I'm in college, whenever I'm going outside, because as a YouTuber, a shot could come out at any second. So you just press this button and this device just starts. As you can see, this is a 3-axis gimbal. So all the XYZ axes are covered. That means whatever happens, this guy will keep the shot stable. As you can see, it will be only looking at one perspective. So this is the DJI OSMO Pocket, and it all the rotating shots which you have seen where I'm sitting and the camera is looking from outside to the inside, etc. All of these are shot on this very small device, right? So this is the DJI OSMO Pocket, one of the beauties of this DJI company. The next is this thing. I've got the iPhone 12 Pro, which I am currently using, and this is very beautiful, especially for vlogging. As you might have noticed, the videos from it come out looking excellent. It has been widely known that you will sit through a bad video quality, but you can't sit through a bad audio quality, and that is very true. For that, I have two systems to record audio. One is the on-camera Rode microphone, which is great at recording audio, and the other one I plug it in externally to my MacBook or my iPad or something else. As you can see, this drawer is a very big mess of things. It's a mess. We got it. So this is the another microphone which I use. This is the Fifine something microphone. I'll have the link to the products in the description. This is very nice because it is kind of what do we call it? I think it is called as a condenser microphone. It basically captures your voice in a very crisp manner in a very short range, so things going on out there won't be captured by it. However, this over on the camera is a shotgun microphone, Rode VideoMicro. This is very important. This is a game changer. Ever since I bought it, all the comments about the ASMR voice have been started coming. In the drawer, you can also see a lot of other messy stuff around. So we've got one 2TB hard drive, then we've got another 2TB hard drive, and then we have another 1TB hard drive. We've got an SSD. So all of this is the storage that I've accumulated over the past one year of being very serious about YouTube. So this is the cost of being a YouTuber. I don't delete any footage. I always store it so that it may come in handy later on. Alright, now let's go ahead. I'm going to show you the lighting setup which I usually use for my videos. So there are two very big lights present over here. So for lighting up my videos, this is the light that I use. Of course, it hasn't been cleaned because I don't really care. I just only care about the light. So this is called as a softbox, and what it basically does is that it reduces the sharpness of your light coming out of it, and the larger the diameter of your softbox, the softer the light will be. And inside the softbox, as you can see, that there are 4 different I think there are 50 watt LEDs which are powering the whole thing right over here. It has got 2 modes basically. One is in half power, the other is in full power. So this is kind of expensive. I've got another light identical to this one. So it comes as a pack of 2 very big lights like this. It's a big job trying to get and set it up, but this is great. And this using those 2 lights, I get all the lighting. It's kind of expensive. It's around like 18,000 or 16,000, I don't remember, but this is my go-to light for most of the purposes. Apart from that, I've got various other small instruments, equipments around the place. We've got 2 of these. This is a 6.1 feet tripod, and this is really great. And other one is smaller one. So these were the 2. Next is this one, very small, very lightweight. This was actually a gift from our friends at Altaf H Wali Studio from Nagpur. And we've got various other small things scattered all over the place, which generally help to shoot and film better. Let's do a quick cost analysis of the camera, of the equipment, etc. So the camera which is shooting this video is priced at 85,000 rupees with the 1650 lens. Apart from that, I've got this DSLR which is 50k, so 85 plus 50, so that's 135 in total. The OSMO Pocket is 30k when I bought it, so that is around 165. Then we've got the lights which costed around 18k at that point, so let us round it up to 15k. That comes out at around 150k. To add the other accessories, you can just assume that it was around 20,000 to 30,000 in cost. So the round-up cost for everything that I require to film and shoot is around 2 lakh rupees. And all of this I have invested from my own money because as my YouTube revenue came, I just invested it on YouTube itself, and that is the reason why the channel has been growing, because I tend to try to provide the best content possible. Like yesterday we upgraded the camera, and now from today all the videos will be in 4K. So this is a big step for me, because up until this time I only had this 1080p on this camera. Right. Coming to another fun part of my job is editing. Right. So the editing is done mostly what 100% of my editing is done on this very beautiful device. This is the MacBook Pro 13-inch with the M1 chip inside, and this is a great device which I really love. It's absolutely fast to start, so if I could just open up, it would just start. So that is how fast the M1 chip is inside. And as you can see, this was actually the script which I was writing for the video. And the editing, I mostly do it on this software which is called as DaVinci Resolve 17.1, and this software is really great. It basically is completely free, and second of all, it has all the features that you would require for an editing. As you can see, it already started. So that is how fast the MacBook Pro is. Let's just do a quick test to show even the very beautiful abilities of the MacBook. I'm just quickly going to open up every single app. You can see it does not even stop. So it just opened so many apps, and it has nothing is stopping over here. So that's the power of the MacBook, and it is really fast. The render times for any 1080 videos is not more than 1 or 2 minutes. That is how fast. Alright, so this is the MacBook Pro, and the reason that I don't use Final Cut Pro is there's only one reason. It costs 22,000. I don't have that sort of money to invest in a software because DaVinci Resolve is just so good. Right, after the videos have been edited, I have to review it. So I send it to 2 of my friends. They review it whether or not it is looking good on YouTube. And of course, if I have a sponsor in my video, then of course I have to send that to the sponsor 1 or 2 days, even 3 days before the video is published. I also show my video to my parents before it is uploaded. I think there has been one upload which they haven't seen because they were out of station, but all the videos before you guys see it, I see it with them. Last part about everything is posting. My current schedule for posting is currently Sunday 10 AM as well as Thursday or Wednesday. I'm yet to decide which one to go with. And once you press that publish button, it is very satisfying. So every Sunday I sit in the front of my computer like at 9:58 and wait for 2 minutes to pass and then manually click the publish button. It's very rare that I schedule it. On the Thursday, every video is scheduled because I am outside in the hospital, etc. doing the things. Right, so that was basically about how I make my videos, and the cost calculation, if you include the MacBook Pro in it, as well as some other accessories that needs to be bought with the MacBook, that comes out around 3,36,000 per year. But not per year, but 3,36,000 in the past year that I've spent as an investment on YouTube. So there's this very beautiful line by Mr. Beast that I really like it. He says that my revenue for the last video is my budget for the next video. So that is the level of investing people do on their channel, and I think that investing into something that you love is always a great thing to do. Anyways, that was about how I make my videos, and I really hope that you enjoyed watching me speak about the things I like. And of course, this is your boy Anuj Pachhel. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. It would mean a lot to me if you could subscribe. I'm really trying to get to 1 million by the end of this year, putting a lot of extra effort to keep you content twice a week. So please consider subscribing. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.